Namaskar, welcome to PK's classes. Today we will study the research process. So, research we can divide it into two words. One is the other is search. Search means investigation, and means again. So, what is there? We need to investigate for a purpose. So we can say that research is nothing but purposeful investigation. So when we say investigation, there are two things. One is the question and the second is the answer. So the question posed and the answer proposed. And the question is usually implicit, means not clear, whereas the answer is always explicit, that is clear. So from the question posed to the answer proposed, whatever information we get, we collect, then analyze, finally interpret, that involves research. So research is the collection, analysis and interpretation of the information leading from the question to the answer, or from the implicit question to the explicit answer. So what are the steps in the research process? The first step is problem definition. If the problem is not defined well, then definitely we will not have a great solution. So first we need to identify a broad topic where we should have, or we should consider, who to be researched, when to be researched, where to be researched, what to be researched. So when we consider who, when, where and what to be researched, then we can identify a broad topic, and that broad topic we have to narrow it down to a specific problem or question. Then we will go for the second step, the literature review. In the literature review, we will go for the research articles, review articles, books, the library, the search engines like Google, Yahoo, etc. And then the database, like the scientific database like Scopus, PubMed, Science Direct. So all this we should use to get necessary information based on our problem, and in that case we should know, or we should understand what is already known about the topic, and then we have to identify the gaps in the current knowledge. And once we identify the gaps in the current knowledge, then we can develop the rationale of our study. So the third step will be the hypothesis formulation. So we have identified the problem, we have defined the problem, then we have identified the gaps, we know the rationale of our study, then from the literature survey, then we need to formulate the hypothesis. So hypothesis is nothing but the assumption. What is that? We first need to develop specific questions the research aims to answer. First we have to develop those questions which our research aims to answer, then create testable hypothesis that propose a possible answer. So then we can take, after developing specific questions, we can take one or two testable hypotheses so that we can get a possible answer. And this hypothesis can be of two types. One is null hypothesis and the second is alternate hypothesis. And you can refer to our one more class where we will discuss about this hypothesis in detail. Then the fourth step is the research design. That means the blueprint for the research, the plan, the methodology, how to conduct the research will be dealt in this research design, where we will see what should be the sample size, what should be the sample design, what should be the sampling procedure, what are the methods we will follow during data collection, how we will do the data analysis, which statistics methods we will use, the experimental design, because it is not possible to do the testing in the whole population. So we have the whole population, and from the whole population we need to take a sample, and in that sample we will do the testing. That is we call that as the experiment. So experiment is conducted in the sample rather than the whole population, and that experiment design, how to design that, everything is there in the research design. Then we'll have the data collection. So once already in the protocol we have defined what are the methods we will follow, accordingly we will collect the data. And again in the protocol we have already defined the data analysis, the statistical methods which we will use. So accordingly we will do the data analysis and data interpretation. So the statistics or the statistical methods we will use can be parametric tests. So if we are using parameters like say mean, then this is called parametric test, and the others are non-parametric tests where we do not use any parameter, we use rather the rank, order, etc. for analysis. Then again these parametric tests we will have t-test and ANOVA, analysis of variance, where you can have univariate analysis where single characteristics of interest is studied, analyzed. The bivariate analysis, two characteristics of interest are analyzed, and in multivariate analysis more than two characteristics of interest are analyzed. And once it is done, we will have some conclusion of the findings. We will write a report, and we can also go for publications, we can go for patents, we can write some thesis submission. So all these things we can do after completion, after getting the findings. So this is all about the research process, where 7 steps are there. First step is problem definition, second step is the literature review, third step is the hypothesis formulation, fourth step is the research design, fifth step is the data collection, sixth step is the data analysis and data interpretation, and finally the report findings. Thank you.